Ccrp Silver Club is sponsored by Ccrp, Digicel, NCB, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, and JNGI. Older people are important members of any society and therefore have the right to live in dignity in later years. Welcome to the Ccrp Silver Club, a program that seeks to educate, entertain, and celebrate the lives of persons 50 and over. I'm Dervan Malcolm. This week on Ccrp Silver Club.
Almost everything that you do impacts retirement. Most people, I think, start saving too late.
If you don't have an health plan, you can sign up for the Ccrp.
It's a gift that God has given you, and I think you should explore it.
Retirement planning at any age can be challenging. However, there are certain steps to take when you're in your mid-50s and 60s to ensure you're ready for those golden years. Patricia Reid-Waugh is here to help us on this path.
The number one concern of people approaching retirement is financial insecurity. Will I be able to meet my daily expense requirements in retirement? Do I have adequate savings to last the rest of my life? Or will I run out of money? Will I be able to afford health care? Will I still be burdened by debt in retirement? The first step to answering these questions is acknowledging where you stand right now. An excerpt from my new book, Retirement, the Journey and the Destination. My name is Patricia Reid-Waugh. I'm an author and retirement coach. It is almost the best time of my life. I never knew that I could have been enjoying life so much. I feel very fulfilled. I have been doing a lot of things, and I think I have been adding value to other people's lives, and that has given me a great sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. It's important to celebrate age, I think, because we have done so much, we have given so much, been in the workforce, we have been agents of change, and we should be celebrated. Retirement planning, in essence, is setting goals and objectives for that time of life later on, when you would not be in the workforce anymore, and also you would be getting a little older, and therefore things would change. So you have to set goals and objectives for that period. You have to look at your situation. I'm no longer married, single, no children, no husband, or anything. In terms of financial resources, it's just me alone. There's nobody to hold my hand to and ask. Also, the whole matter of, for instance, where I live is precisely because of that. When I was buying somewhere, I had to consider that later on in life, I am going to be alone. I have no children, and therefore I had to go and purchase somewhere in an apartment complex where there are neighbors, there are people close enough to me that if something happens, I can reach out. The right time to plan for retirement is the day you start working. And I cannot overemphasize this, because there are things that occur during your working life. In fact, I would say almost everything that you do impacts retirement. In terms of saving, a lot of people, most people, I think, start saving too late. The fact that you're on a pension plan, if you are employed, and there's a certain percentage contribution that you make. You can make the maximum contribution if you're thinking about it. in order to maintain that same lifestyle, the experts will tell you you need about 80% of your income. You know, in my case, I did not learn to cook. To this day, I cannot cook. And had I known that it would have impacted my health in the way it has, I would have learned to cook a long time ago, because I was eating on the street. So I've ended up with all of the diabetes, the hypertension, the kidney disease, and all of that. You need to take care of yourselves. You need to ensure that you are eating properly, sleeping adequately, you are exercising adequately, and finally, you need to build out your network of support. It's important. When you get to my age, you need people. One of the things you can do is you can plan in such a way to generate income at that time. So hobbies, interests, passions, all the skills that you are developing on the job, the competencies and all of that, they can all work for you in retirement. If you are employed, then you would be contributing to an employer sponsored pension fund if the employer has one. But not all employers have. So I think everybody should be thinking about their own individual retirement plan. And there are lots of them. All of the financial institutions have individual retirement plans. We have a whole group of entrepreneurs in this country. Everybody now wants to work for themselves, and everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and that's great. But are you guys, you entrepreneurs, thinking about a retirement fund? You have a lot of contract workers. When I was working overseas, I worked on contract. Every 2 years, I got an end of contract bonus. And what did I do with it? Spent it, had fun. Instead of placing it into an individual retirement scheme. And this is the reason why I'm on this mission, because I'm trying to prevent people from being what I was. When I retired, it was not because I had gotten to retirement age, it was because of illness. And this is another thing that people have to consider. Anytime you can be put out of that workforce because of illness or accident or something. And therefore, it is important for you to start preparing from early. Another thing in terms of retirement, you need a health insurance plan. I wrote the first book, which was Retirement and New Adventure. Now, I spent my first 4 years of retirement really having fun. And I was enjoying myself. Continued to go to the US Open tennis and watching Federer play and Serena and just having a great time. I started learning to play the violin and the steel pan and all these things. So I realized that, you know, retirement can really be a fun time. So I wrote the book, Retirement and New Adventure. And it in essence, what I was doing is trying to encourage persons who were now retired to remain active. Now, what that book did was it opened doors for me, because companies were inviting me in to talk to their 60-year-olds, persons who were going to be retiring. So, you know, that opened that stream, that income stream there for me. Now, it was in that process that I realized talking to people at 60 and 63 was a bit too late. And therefore, I think that, you know, I needed to be talking to them at 40, 35, 40. So I wrote the second book, which is titled Retirement, the Journey and the Destination. And that is pitched for the younger persons. I recently did a couple of seminars for a company, and the company actually bought 108 books. You need to join the Ccrp because that's an organization that gives you a lot of benefits, a lot of discounts, because at that point you really want to cut down on your expenses. It's a group that goes on trips and they just have fun. So as I speak to you now about the financial realities of retirement, know that I'm not doing so as someone with a hefty pension or huge inheritance. I have had to figure out much of this as I went along. I do not recommend following in my footsteps at this point, but do not allow yourself to be trapped into thinking that there's no point in planning ahead financially because you don't make enough money or because you're too close to retirement. There are ways to make it happen.
Next up, we explore estate planning and life insurance. The CCRP Silver Club will be right back. This segment is brought to you by Quartz. When you hear the word estate, you might think of mansions, huge stock portfolios, and other pricey possessions. But estate planning isn't just for the ultra-rich. Everyone, regardless of financial status or age, can benefit from having an estate plan. Financial advisor at Ccrp, Oral Heaven, explains.
As Ccrp, we are the underwriters for the CCRP, and it is managed by Gallagher Insurance Brokers. It is for seniors, starting at 50 up to 80. A 50-year-old and 3 months can get the plan without having to provide insurability. There are 2 types of plan really under the CCRP plan with Ccrp, a comprehensive health plan and major medical. And it covers what the regular health plan covers: dental, optical, prescription drugs, hospital expenses, lab diagnostics, and surgery expenses. So once you're a member of the CCRP, you're encouraged to sign up for that plan. Reasonable premium, and the coverage varies. And there's also major medical that goes up to $3.5 million. If you don't have an health plan, it's something that you and your family, once you're a bona fide Jamaican, your family reside in Jamaica, you can sign up for the CCRP. It goes up to age 80 and your kids up to age 26. And your spouse can also sign up. If you're a member, your spouse can sign up. And spouse is unmarried or married. Life insurance is important to not just seniors, but to everyone. For seniors in particular, it's important so that they can have planning in place, so that whatever assets you have will go to the persons to whom you want it to go to. Life insurance allows you to provide for your family, your loved ones after, because it's a matter of providing income after that, or as protecting your assets. So we actually sit down with the senior, do an analysis, and based on what the findings, then we provide a suitable insurance solution that will satisfy their needs. You have loved ones, and you know who you want to leave what you have, your assets to. Without a will, then your assets can go to just about anyone. With a will in place, then the asset will go to whoever you bequeath your assets to. So having a will is important. A will is just a part of estate planning. Estate planning involves other aspects such as power of attorney, the will, the trust, living will, etc. So it's important for the seniors to ensure that they talk to the financial advisors, who of course will have an attorney who can better manage or create the estate plan for them. You don't have to be a senior to start estate planning. Once you have assets, you must, because estate planning assists not just after death, but if you're incapacitated, then you need somebody to act on your behalf. A part of estate planning also involves medical decisions. If you're unable to make a medical decision, then estate planning allows the person who you left in charge of you or who is responsible for you to make that decision for you. It's been to sensitize our people to the reality that they need to start thinking retirement, because you live many years. You live just about the number of years you live working life in retirement. So how do you live? How do you pay your bills? How do you buy food? How do you cover your expenses? So that's a retirement plan. Disability, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. We just don't know. So you prepare for disability through savings or through having an insurance that has life insurance but has some savings attached to it as well. So when you outlive the insurance, you have some cash value to get. And of course, family security. You're leaving children behind, grandchildren, probably loved ones. What security are you leaving in place for them as it relates to income, as it relates to covering the expenses? If you're spending an expense $2 million now per annum with children not yet in university, just think what the expense will be for them going into university. It's important for you to call a Ccrp Life agent now so you can start your financial plans.
Coming up, we get creative with Glynne Manley in the studio, and Executive Director of Ccrp, Jean Lowrie-Chin, addresses our seniors. This segment is brought to you by the National Health Fund. There are plenty hobbies for seniors that allow you to learn new skills, expand your knowledge, and fully enjoy your leisure time. Glynne Manley speaks to us about her love for art.
I've always had an interest in art. You know, every Sunday we'd visit museums and keep in touch with what the new artists are doing. But I was well into my 60s when I started to paint seriously and come to Santa classes. I was their first student. Because, you know, I honestly believe that every person God puts on this earth has a talent that most times they don't explore or experiment with. And that ranges from crochet, baking, painting, or embroidery. You know, I mean, it's a gift that God has given you, and I think you should, you know, explore it, try and make it better. A lot of my friends, their children have all grown up. They have no responsibilities for the upbringing of grandchildren. You only see them now and then. And you've got time, and you should not waste time because it's limited, it's a finite. You know, I've got friends that say, I always wanted to go and shoot, do the archery thing. And I said, well, go, what's stopping you, you know? When I'm painting, it's so relaxing. My art is not everybody's cup of tea. I do a lot of abstract work with mixed media and a lot of textural work, because it's not meant to stimulate your eye, but more to stimulate your spirit or your heart. You get a reaction from seeing it, even if it's you know, it causes a reaction. But I have to paint the way I paint. And you know, when I come to class here, the students themselves are just great people, you know. They've taken a step into the unknown, and we're all learning together. And plus, Anne provides a wonderful staff. We have excellent teachers. A lot of my friends, unfortunately, have lost their partner, and it can be a very lonely and painful time, you know. So I always encourage them to get involved with something, whether it's volunteering or an art class, or, you know, there's a lot of things you can make better use of your time than sitting at home and being sad. Most of the times I don't know what I'm doing until I'm well into the painting. I start with an idea. For instance, this last one, I was listening to this horrendous stories of children in adoption homes or foster parents. Some of them are very badly treated. So I decided to try and express my hurt for them in a painting. So I'm not one of these artists that, you know, really are corny doing acting and being in the moment. It's fun for me. I find older women just great. They're ready for anything. And they try this and they like company. Yeah, they're nice. And they always have great stories to tell about Jamaica long ago. I love listening to those. All you have to do is make a phone call or drop into the studio. But it doesn't have to be art. You know, they offer ceramic classes here as well. I loved that when I started. I just, you know, that squeezy feel and you shape something. As a matter of fact, I might even go back and take some classes again.
On behalf of the board and membership of CCRP, I am once again very pleased to commend the National Council for Senior Citizens for continuing to champion the cause of our seniors on the occasion of National Senior Citizens Week 2022. In this 60th year of our independence, we particularly note the collective contribution of the generations whose sacrifices helped secure our self-determination, and those following after who have helped us showcase our greatness to the world and laid the groundwork for even greater achievements. A year ago, we were still very much locked in the throes of the COVID-19 pandemic. While the easing of restrictions has brought a welcome respite to many, COVID-19 is still claiming the lives of Jamaicans, and many others continue to suffer from long-term associated issues. Our seniors remain particularly vulnerable given the low levels of vaccination and ramped up levels of social interaction. We continue to support the call for all eligible Jamaicans to get vaccinated, as seniors at home risk potential infection from unvaccinated relatives and friends. Just as with the NCSC, we at CCRP recognize the tremendous wealth of professional and vocational abilities of our community and the great desire of our seniors to actively contribute to the betterment of our beloved nation. We are working to provide opportunities for that through our regular fellowship, through our talent expositions, and also through our media. We continue to patiently but eagerly follow the progress of the revised National Policy on Senior Citizens, having been tabled by government, as well as other hopeful developments with respect to much needed pension reform and other government and private initiatives to assist our most needy seniors. I again commend the NCSC and anticipate another tremendously successful Senior Citizens Week as we continue to work to improve the lives and recognize the incalculable value of our seniors and all our fellow Jamaicans.
That's it for this episode of the CCRP Silver Club, where we keep you informed and educated about matters concerning you, our seniors. CCRP Silver Club is sponsored by Ccrp, Digicel, NCB, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, and JNGI.